Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe faces tough questions, and Philippine commandos strike it big in a raid on Mindinao. Plus, Australia prepares to increase troop deployment to combat Daesh, and North Korea looks to fire a medium-range missile. For Wednesday, March 4, 2015, this is the Asia Brief. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe is in hot water over the legality of campaign contributions. The Prime Minister has already lost 3 cabinet members due to scandal, and now it looks like it's his turn to face the music. At question are donations he received from firms that got government subsidies. A total of 620,000 yen, or about $5,165, were given by chemical companies that received government subsidies in 2012 and 2013. According to Japanese election laws, companies receiving government subsidies are prohibited from making political donations for a period of 1 year. Internal Affairs Minister Sane Takaichi said, "There's no problem if the politician was unaware of the subsidies at the time." Abe told a parliamentary committee he was unaware of the subsidies, but agreed politicians exchanging favors for donations is a problem. In the grand scheme of things, there could be thousands of subsidy programs, and it may be very well impossible to keep track of them all. That's precisely the story Economy Minister Akira Amari tells, offering to return 120,000 yen he received in 2013 and 2014 from a company that obtained government subsidies. The fallout for Abe should be minimal, as he still retains an above 50% approval rating. January 25th, the Philippine Special Action Force, an elite police commando unit, entered a rubble area on Mindinao to neutralize Zulkifli bin Hur, also known as Marwan, an al-Qaeda-linked bombmaker with a $5 million U.S. bounty on his head. The raid went incredibly wrong, resulting in the death of 44 officers from a combined MILF and BIFF combatant force. The Okinawa government has been hammering out a long-sought-after peace deal with the Moro Islamic Liberation Front when that incident occurred. As a result of the botched raid, the peace process has virtually been tabled. But the MILF offered to make amends by offering assistance in any way to help in future military operations. For the past 2 weeks, Armed Forces Philippines and MILF forces have been pounding Bangsamoro Islamic Freedom Fighters installations with howitzer cannons. The BIFF fighters fled, allowing the military forces to capture a bomb-making facility. The military was tipped off to 5 foreign nationals in the area, an Arab and 4 Indonesians working with the BIFF. We received reports these 5 foreign militants belonging to al-Qaeda have been teaching the rebels on the latest bomb-making techniques, said military spokesman Colonel Padilla, stressing the point that they were affiliated with the BIFF. Australia announced it plans on sending another 300 troops to Iraq, part of a joint mission with New Zealand to help train local forces fighting Daesh. This follows New Zealand's commitment to send an additional 140 non-combatant personnel to assist the Iraq military. Prime Minister Tony Abbott said the decision to send the troops followed a formal request by both the United States and Iraqi governments. The Prime Minister said, quote, "I want to stress that we haven't taken this decision lightly. Ultimately, it is Iraq that must defeat the death cult, but we do not want to leave the Iraqis on their own. We are naturally reluctant, as a peace-loving people, to reach out to faraway conflicts. But as we know, this conflict has been reaching out to us for months now." End quote. Some 170 Australians are currently serving in Iraq, training local troops. Abbott noted that it is absolutely and utterly in Australia's national interest to increase their presence there, as Daesh has been able to radicalize Australians at home and entice about 100 to fight with them. Australia's troops in Iraq are limited to non-combat and support roles. According to South Korea's Yonhap News, North Korea may be readying a medium-range Nodong ballistic missile to be fired sometime in the near future. The news agency quotes an anonymous source who states, quote, we've detected signs that North Korea has developed 2 transporter erector launchers since a few days back in its Nodong missile station in North Pyongan province. We are closely monitoring their movements, bearing in mind chances of their actual launches." End quote. The DPRK fired Nodong missiles last year at this time. At that juncture, it was the first time the dictatorial regime had fired them in 5 years. The missiles have a range of about 1,300 kilometers and can carry a payload of about 700 kilograms. What makes the Nodong missile a threat is that it's fired from mobile launchers, making them difficult to swiftly detect, according to the military source. North Korea's Committee for the Peaceful Reunification of Korea also announced, quote, "Now that the puppet warmongers are making an open challenge by kicking off war drills against the North, together with the United States, the opportunity of the North-South dialogue and improvement of relations have already passed, and there will be only a final standoff by force." End quote. Be sure to keep up with additional news from the region by following Asian News Weekly on Facebook or Twitter. You can send an email to the show with your questions, your comments, and your feedback. Just drop a line to podcast@asiannewsweekly.net. If you enjoyed today's podcast, please share it with your friends. You can also subscribe to this and other podcasts on our website, asiannewsweekly.net. You can do that also in your favorite podcast application like iTunes or Stitcher. Subscribing is free, and when you do, the next episode is delivered automatically to you. Thank you for listening today. For the Asia Brief, I'm Steve Miller.